Hello and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Expert says XRP holders' dream may never come true. Okay guys, let's have a real conversation here. So, I think with what's been going on lately, one of the things being the wallet that was compromised, Chris Larson's wallet being compromised. I think that's caused a lot of issues, and also a topic that I've not really gone too deep on, just because it just wasn't a topic that I really felt to cover, to be honest. But it was in regards to an issue with a lot of node validators wanting to basically quit being validators on the XRP ledger. And I'm not going to get too deep into that because I think it's going to kind of mess up the thought process for this video. But the long story short was they felt that Ripple was trying to kind of take over in regards to bringing out an incentive to basically make people pay for certain services. It's really a lot more detailed than that. So I'll be honest with you, someone who really covered it really well was Lambo. So I'd recommend you watch his video because he went into it in depth. But to be honest with you, the long story short, and this is why I didn't really cover it, is because it really had nothing to do with Ripple. It was someone who worked for Ripple and it was his personal opinion. And that's why I was just like, I get that people have got upset about this, but this is someone's opinion who works for Ripple. It's not necessarily the ideas of Ripple. And, you know, like you usually see this when you look on like people's X profiles. They'll say stuff like, thoughts expressed are those of my own, not of my employer, or something like that, right? Or the views expressed are those of mine and not Ripple's, you know, that kind of thing, to basically say, look, anything that I put out here is really more about me and my personal opinion rather than me acting on behalf of Ripple. And so this guy put out a proposal in regards to an idea that he felt would help XRP and get more people, you know, contributing to XRP. And a lot of validators didn't like it because they felt it was basically Ripple trying to make a money incentive. I don't really believe that was the case from what I saw. It did seem to me like it was just an employee's opinion, and he did say that he discussed it with certain people at Ripple and also just validators and stuff like that before he actually put it out, just to see how comfortable they felt with it. But you know, with this kind of stuff, especially with XRP, there's a lot of segregation in the community. It's kind of fractured in a way because you've got the people who believe in XRP going to like $10,000 and stuff like that. You've got people who are a bit more realistic with their expectations, like myself. And, you know, you've got people who believe in, for example, like the riddles and stuff like that. Now, look, whatever you want to believe, that's fine. I'm not here to like tell you what to believe. I'll give you my opinions and I give you my reasons for my opinions. But, you know, everybody's entitled to believe whatever they want to believe. I just hope everybody manages to make money. That's the end goal. Like, I just hope everybody manages to make money some way from this and don't mess up their opportunity. But yeah, overall, it caused a lot of backlash from validators, and a good amount of validators decided to quit. And so this, along with some other issues as lately, came to Ripple being under some scrutiny. And so I want to get into this article, and again, I want this to be a conversation. What do you guys think? Let's have an honest conversation here, because this is the thing, we're all XRP holders, right? And we all want to make money from XRP. And so I'm an investor like you guys. So for me, I've said it before, all I want is the truth. That's all I want, because I can act properly when I know the truth. So I like to address these topics. I'm not someone who's going to bury my head in the sand. If I start to think that XRP is a bad investment, I will come out of it. Same as I will tell you guys on my channel. I'm not going to just put my head in the sand and try to ignore this, or, you know, put my hand over my ears. If I think something's going wrong, I will say. At the moment, I'll be honest with you, I still don't have these kinds of concerns, as the title says. But again, this really comes down to like what your dream is. Like, again, it's subjective because everybody's got different opinions of what their dream is. So, for example, I don't believe in XRP going to like $10,000. So if people are believing that, well, their dream, yeah, may never come true, but in my eyes, I don't believe that anyway. So what I think might be still achievable because my expectations are way lower than that. So I guess in that sense, it's really subjective here. But let's get into the article and then we can discuss this a bit further. Yassine Mobarak, the founder of Dizer Capital, has voiced scathing criticism against Ripple and its handling of XRP, lamenting that XRP holders may have been sold a dream that may never materialize. This sentiment came amid a disagreement over incentives for XRP ledger node operators and a noticeable exodus of validators. Yassine Mobarak expressed his dissent, stating that he no longer believes that, quote, the best incentive is no incentive, unquote. In response, prominent XRP figure cryptoholics highlighted the rapid development of Evernode, a Layer 2 smart contract platform. Evernode reportedly established a decentralized infrastructure that boasts 3,440 nodes in less than 15 days. Ripple's alleged mishandling of XRP. Responding to Eri's disclosure, Mobarak expressed dismay over the situation in the XRP ecosystem. Specifically, he accused Ripple of mishandling the incentive concepts within the XRP ledger over the years. He highlighted Ripple's alleged failure to capitalize on the concept of programmable transfer of value, a concept predating Ethereum. Furthermore, Mobarak criticized Ripple's utilization of the XRP escrow account. According to him, it is devoid of meaningful benefits to the ecosystem. In his words, quote, it's sad and shameful to see how they, in brackets Ripple, continue to milk the escrow account without any meaningful benefit to the ecosystem and public ledger, unquote. XRP Army sold a pipe dream. Meanwhile, an ex-user pointed out Ripple's primary motive as a corporation: profit. The commenter argued that as a business entity, Ripple fundamentally prioritizes financial gain over noble aspirations. In his response, Mobarak clarified that he harbored no opposition to Ripple's pursuit of profit by disclosing his shareholder status within the company. Quote, I want the company to succeed, unquote, he remarked. However, he emphasized his deep concern for retail XRP holders. And I'm just going to quickly go into a bit more of that quote there. Quote, I am a Ripple shareholder. I want the company to succeed, but not at the expense of the retail XRP holders who were sold a dream that may never come true, unquote. In particular, Mobarak expressed that Ripple's success should not come at the expense of the investors enticed into the XRP market with lofty dreams. This includes sentiments that XRP could reach $10,000 per token given Ripple's effort in leveraging XRP for cross-border payment services, a dream that may ultimately remain unrealized. XRP Army urged to diversify. In the broader context of the conversation, crypto podcaster Tony Edward advocated for diversification. He acknowledged his bullish stance on XRP, but admitted uncertainty about the future. As a result, Edward cautioned against overly emotional attachments to tokens, which he deemed detrimental. Essentially, the podcaster stressed the importance of embracing diversification instead of concentrating all investment hopes on a single project. Okay. So, let's get into this. So, some real great points that have been made here, and I think these are things that we do just need to discuss if we want to just be open and honest, because we all want what's best for XRP and Ripple, right? We all want what's best for us to get the most out of our investment. So we have to have these conversations. We have to be open with ourselves and honest, because that's how we're going to maximize our potential. That's how we're going to maximize the best out of our investment. So let's get to the first thing. No incentive, the best incentive. So that is a saying that David Schwartz has had for a long time in regards to validators on the XRP ledger. And I'll be honest with you, I'm really torn with this one because I understand what David Schwartz is saying. I do get what he's saying. The reason why he's saying no incentive is the best incentive is because when money's involved, there are people who may bend or do things differently for the sake of money. And I can put this in a real easy context for you guys to understand. Some content creators on YouTube, some content creators will make up content and just say crazy things because they know that people are going to view it, which in turn gets their money, right? So that's one of those things where if there was no money incentive for these people, they probably wouldn't have channels, because if they wasn't earning money from it, they wouldn't care to do the content, right? And that's the difference between people who really want to try and help you make the most of your investment and people who just want to basically use you for views and things like that. I'm trying my best to just educate you guys. This is why I have these difficult conversations. I'm not just sitting here saying, you know, XRP is the best, it's the best, it's the best. I really want the truth, because I'm like you guys. So I'm one of you. That's the way I see you. I'm one with the people here. And so with the no incentive, the best incentive, logically that does make sense, right? Because if there's no money incentive, there's going to be no chance for any type of like corruption or doing anything for the sake of money, rather than like for the sake of the actual ledger, for the benefit of the actual ledger. However, we live in a capitalist society, right? And that's the problem here. Like, not everybody's going to want to continue to just do things for free, or possibly even at their own expense. I think that's very hard. Now, they have had people doing this, but as you just saw earlier, as Crypto Eri pointed out, this Evernode platform had 3,440 nodes set up in less than 15 days. That shows you what money can do. And so I think when it comes to this kind of thing, you have to kind of take the rough with the smooth, right? Like, you have to take the pros and the cons. And I think at this point, maybe what we just have to accept, and what David Schwartz just has to accept here, is that while no incentive probably is the best incentive, it's probably not going to help expand the network. It's not going to help bring in validators or make them want to stay. And so I think at this point, when we've been seeing certain things about how XRP doesn't have as much activity going on as other networks and that kind of thing, we have to be honest, right? Like, maybe the fact that validators aren't getting paid is a huge reason as to why there's not many validators on the network. And, you know, people hearing things that they disagree with, it's easy for them to leave because they've got no financial incentive to stay. So yes, while I do understand that it's not necessarily the best at a financial incentive that can make them stay, in this day and age, we're in a capitalist society and nothing really comes for free, right? Like, you know, not a lot of people are going to do stuff out of the goodness of their hearts. Now, don't get me wrong, there are people who are doing it, but my point is you will get a lot more with a monetary incentive. Do you see what I'm saying? So yes, there will be people who will do stuff like this. Like, I do my content not thinking about how to make money, but how to just give you guys the best content, what you can learn from. But at the end of the day, not everybody thinks like that, right? Not everybody's on the same page. Other people just want to come in and just make as much money as possible. So they will just do whatever content is going to bring views. And so, like, I think it's one of these things where we've tried it in this way for a long time now. No incentive, the best incentive. And to me, I think it's time to accept that maybe we need to try something else. I do understand what he's saying there in that sense. Okay. So now let's move on to the next point. He was talking about how XRP holders may have been sold a dream in regards to the $10,000 a token and whatnot. Now, first things first, the $10,000 a token, I'm not aware of anyone from Ripple actually saying this. I know a lot of people say that David Schwartz had said this. I'm not aware of this being official though, because even with the David Schwartz thing, I believe this was a tweet that was put out a long time ago, and from what I remember, it was actually misconstrued, and David Schwartz actually addressed this. He said, you know, the tweet had really been taken out of context and got really misunderstood. And I don't think I've ever heard him specifically say $10,000 a token, and I don't think I've heard anyone from Ripple say that. So I'm not really so sure in regards to that, but let's just go back to the sold a dream thing, because if there's one thing that I have seen, and again, I am going to question this to a certain degree, I have seen, for example, like posts where you would see, like, let's just say, for example, Brad Garlinghouse's face, right? And then next to it, there'll be like a quote. Now, the thing for me with this is, I don't know if these quotes, again, are things that Brad Garlinghouse has said, or if this is just something that people have just put together. I'm really not sure. But I have seen, for example, like a picture of like Brad Garlinghouse's face, and then it'll say something like, for example, Ripple will be like the equivalent of what Amazon is to books. As in, it'll be changing the world in terms of books, because obviously now you have ebooks and stuff like that you can do on Amazon. And he was basically saying that, like, this is what Ripple will be like for payments, right? But I've never seen this actual quote from Brad Garlinghouse. Like, I've never seen him actually say this. So I don't know how much I can say that this is factual points that have been made here, or if this is someone who's like a Ripple / XRP fanatic, and they've just created this themselves. So with this, again, it's hard to kind of say how accurate this information is in terms of if it's come from David Schwartz or Brad Garlinghouse, because I've seen many of these quotes, but I've never actually seen it come out of their mouth. I've never seen like a YouTube video where they say this or anything like that. So I don't know where this has actually come from. But again, I've not been with Ripple and XRP from the beginning of its inception. So I can't say. This might have been something that happened way back in the day in like 2015 or something like that, when I wasn't even involved in crypto at that point. So I can't say if this is something that's happened and I just haven't had a chance to see these quotes. So that's a possibility. But we do know that Ripple have definitely been speaking very highly of XRP. Like, I know there's 100% an article, because I have it bookmarked, in regards to them talking about them trying to make XRP the global reserve currency. Like, they've actually said that themselves on their own website. It's still up and available to see. So I know they've definitely had very high hopes for XRP, 100%. Now, the thing that I will say in regards to this, this is where it's difficult, right? Because talking about being like sold a dream, what we have to think here is, okay, what's Ripple's motive if they have said things like this, like in terms of it being like a global reserve currency and stuff like that? What if that's just their genuine aim, right? Like, I could come out tomorrow and I could maybe want to create a business and say, let's just say it's going to be a fast food restaurant. And I could say, I want it to be better than McDonald's. That could be my genuine intention. That could be really how successful I want to make this fast food restaurant. Like, I could really have my aim to say, I want it to be better than KFC, better than McDonald's, better than Burger King, all these places, right? It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to succeed at it, right? So is it a thing where I've necessarily sold you a dream, or is it a thing where I've just been overly ambitious? And that's where it's difficult, because I really don't know what their intentions are, right? I don't know if they're saying this because they were just hoping to get people in. They're just trying to pull the wool over people's eyes. And I was like, this stuff is never going to happen, but it'll get people buying into the token. I couldn't say. Or is it just a thing where they genuinely wanted to try and accomplish these things, and so far maybe they've just not been as successful as they would have liked to have been, right? So I think that's a difficult one to address even in that regard, because we really don't know what their intentions are when they have spoke about XRP. Have they just been genuine in what they've been wanting to accomplish, and maybe they've really just been over ambitious? Or have they really just thought, we're just going to say as much hype stuff as we can to get people to want to buy in, and we've got no intention of trying to reach any of these goals? Like, it's a hard thing to really like address and hard thing to really navigate, because I really don't know the answer to that. Okay, so then we've got them talking about how Ripple have not really supported validators or developers on the XRP ledger. I'm not too well versed in this, if I'll be honest with you, but I have seen that there have been developers who have been frustrated with Ripple. Like, they've been going to Ripple to try and get like grants to develop on the XRP ledger, and they've been continuously been getting denied. This is part of the reason why you've got the Zahao network now, because they was continuously saying like, let us put in the hooks amendment, let us implement it. And obviously Ripple wasn't too keen on the idea, which, to be honest with you, I understand, because with Ripple, their business model for the XRP ledger is payments, and they was worried that the smart contract functionality might ruin the payment side of it. It might really bog down the ledger. And if that happens, well, then Ripple's use case for doing cross-border payments is effectively ruined. So I can understand them being cautious about that. But I have also heard of other developers, like for example Panos, who has been requesting like funding from Ripple to try and develop on the ledger, who's been declined. I have heard that. Now, what's the reason? I don't know. That's the thing, because like I have heard of people being upset with Ripple in that regard. Is it because they're trying to keep the money for themselves? Maybe, or have they just not really believed in what the developers are trying to do? Again, I couldn't say. I've not really seen any developers who have been given a grant by Ripple, so I can't really balance this equation out right now because I don't know enough developers who've been successful in getting funding as opposed to the ones who have been unsuccessful. So I will be honest and say I have heard some developers frustrated and some saying that, like, you know, they're no longer going to develop on the XRP ledger because Ripple haven't been supporting them. I have heard that before. Again, it's a hard thing to say because we don't really know Ripple's reasons in that regard. So it's very hard to really give an answer to that as well. But yeah, you know, I definitely can admit that I have heard people being a bit frustrated in that regard. Now, the last point I will say, and this is, to me, I think this is one of the biggest points in general anyway, diversify. And I agree. While I do hold XRP is not the only crypto I hold. And I think this is where a lot of problems come in for people because they've got all their money in just XRP. And to me, I don't think that's the best idea because nothing is promised here. Nothing is guaranteed. We can already see, like with what happened with the lawsuit, you know, that's held them back for 3 years. Now, if you invested in other cryptocurrencies, you'd have the chance to make money via other cryptocurrencies, right? So diversification is always key because it's not guaranteed that there's going to be just this one crypto that you're going to, you know, just definitely make money on. Or there could be opportunity costs, right? Like you could have put all your money into XRP, but if you'd have diversified, like for example, had some money into Solana, you might have made some money and been like, okay, well, I've still got my XRP there. I'll still wait for XRP to come through. But, you know, Solana's just made me a bit of money. So happy days, you know, that kind of thing. I agree. I don't think we should ever just be invested in just like one crypto. I really don't believe in that myself. Now, look, it's up to you because there's no real one-way strategy that can say is the right or wrong strategy. I just think the problem with just investing into one cryptocurrency is just opportunity cost. That's the best way I can put it, because if the cryptocurrency you're invested in, just that single one, has any problems, like let's just say it was to fail. Like it's very unlikely, but let's just say XRP was to fail. What do you do then? That's all your money gone. That's your opportunity gone completely, right? But take that out the equation. What if XRP just takes a bit longer than other cryptocurrencies to come to fruition and get some real good price action? That's just opportunities that you've missed out on where you could have had your money in other cryptos and that could have helped you to, you know, like make some money earlier on, right? And it can also help in terms of, you know, panic selling and stuff like that, because when you're not just invested in the one crypto, you can kind of feel a bit more comfortable because you can be like, okay, well, I'm more willing to wait for XRP because I've got other cryptocurrencies that can help me out as well. So if I make some money off of these cryptos, I can then wait for XRP. So there's definitely a positive argument, in my opinion, for the diversification. That's my opinion. Some people might say, well, if you just invest all the money into the one crypto, when it takes off, it'll take a lot less for you to make the money that you want to make. And that's a valid point. So again, I can't tell you what's right or wrong. That's completely up to you. But I do think, in my personal opinion, for me, diversification is the way that I went, because I wasn't willing to just put all my eggs in one basket. That just wasn't something I was willing to do, because as much as I'm comfortable and confident with XRP long term, I'm never going to think that it was guaranteed. So I was never willing to just put all my hopes on just the one crypto. That's for me personally. So overall, getting into this conversation, I mean, this is a real hard thing to discuss, to be honest, because one thing I will say is it's still kind of, I don't want to say it's like early days, but it's not over yet, you know, like we've still got the Ripple and SEC lawsuit going on. Like that's not completely finished yet, which I do think is still having an impact with them getting partnerships in America. They're still growing as a business. Like we're still very early in just the technology space. So there's still a lot of time for them to try and, you know, get mainstream adoption. Like we're not at mass adoption yet, right? We're not even at regulations yet. So like this is another thing that will make things a lot easier. Like when regulations are through, that's when it'll be a lot easier for institutions to want to get involved with these cryptocurrencies. So there's a lot of things here that I think it's hard to kind of say right now. Is it game over in terms of we may never see our dream come true? Now, for me, in terms of like the $10,000 a token, as I said earlier, I don't believe that anyway. So I'm not even aiming for that. That's nothing to me. So if we're talking about that dream never coming true, well, yeah, I'm not even expecting that anyway. So for me, that doesn't really matter. In terms of just like good price action though, like for me, I still think everything's here and in play for XRP to do well. It's still a top 10 cryptocurrency. It has been for many years. While yes, they haven't got all the banks using XRP, which I didn't expect to happen anyway, we've still got a good amount of banks using XRP, right? So it's not like it's completely like struggling and no one wants to use it. But yeah, I accept that there could definitely be more incentives for XRP and the XRP ledger to be utilized. I completely agree with that. There's definitely room to improve. But in regards to the validators, yeah, I do think I can agree in terms of the no incentive being the best incentive. While I do understand the logic of it and I do understand the incentive of that, I think it's time to accept that that's not really working. I do think it's time to just accept that and maybe embrace a change. So we will see what happens. But will XRP dreams never come true? I think it's too early to say. That would be my opinion. I don't think it's a thing to say that it's over right now. I just don't think there's enough things here to cement that. I do think in terms of like the $10,000 a token, I would urge people to just do a bit more research, check out my channel, because I don't really think to me that is possible. And I've given plenty of reasons as to why, so you can check out my channel and see why. But I do still think that there's still room for investors to make good money out of XRP. You know, it hasn't got to be $10,000 for you to still make good money. You know, like the room and the opportunity, in my opinion, is still there to still make very good money with XRP, even if it's not $10,000. So if you can give yourself a more realistic outlook on this, then I think the opportunity is still there for me personally. I don't think there's enough things here for me to say that XRP is done. I don't believe that right now. But what do you guys think? The expert saying that XRP holders' dreams may never come true. Do you agree with this? Do you actually think that XRP will never reach the price potential that the XRP holders are hoping for? And if not, what kind of price potential do you think XRP is capable of? Or do you not agree with this? Do you think XRP can go way beyond what this expert is saying? And if you do think it can go higher, how high do you really think it can go? Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'll be interested to hear. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did like it, please remember to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. But until next time, take care.